because we did see the first legs of the round of 16, the rest of the games being played yesterday. A crazy 2 days in the Champions League. So these are some of the results. Most notably, only one team finished in the top 8 won their game, that being Bayern Munich beating the only Serie A side left in the competition, Atalanta 6-1. No Premier League side won their game. Liverpool drawing with Galatasaray 1-1. The same with Newcastle and Barcelona, and also the same with Arsenal taking on Bayer Leverkusen. Tottenham and Chelsea both got beat 5-2 by Atletico Madrid and reigning champions PSG, and then Real Madrid beat Manchester City 3-0. Now, some people may have been surprised by that one, but I wasn't. And finally, the debutants of this tournament, Bodo Glimt, they won again at home. They beat Sporting 3-0. So it's time to recap all the action, starting on with Real Madrid taking on Manchester City. Federico Valverde's first career hat-trick yesterday. He doubled his career Champions League goal total, so he had 3 goals in his last 75 appearances, and obviously had his hat-trick yesterday. The first time he'd scored multiple goals in one match since February 2023, and it was his 400th appearance. Here is what teammate and Trent Alexander-Arnold had to say on the Uruguay international.
I sang his praise a few weeks ago, but again, running out of words to describe him. I think he's the most underrated footballer on the planet and has been for years. And even when I wasn't here, I've admired his game so much because there's no flaw in it. There's nothing he can't do. The energy and what he brings to the team is absolutely immense, and he never moans. He gets on with the game and pushes himself to the limit, game in, game out, and it's an incredible trait to have. And whether people agree or not, he's definitely in the top tier of midfielders on the planet and has been for years.
Aaron, you've got Trent there saying he's one of the most underrated footballers on the planet. You'd Arbeloa saying he's a benchmark for Madrid. And we even had our very own Nigel Reo-Coker saying that's one of the best Champions League performances I've ever seen. Do you agree with that? I think we all do, don't we? It's
up there for one of the best performances ever. I don't know if I'd put him in the top 2 for midfielders in the world right now, but I absolutely think Fede Valverde is an underrated player. I was trying to come up with a player comp. It's kind of like Park Ji-sung with a tractor engine for a boot. Just the amount of ground that Fede Valverde covers, the work that he puts in on both sides of the ball, the ability to just do whatever the team needs. And it seems like a very simple thing, but there aren't that many players who can just do whatever the team needs. Fede Valverde is one of those guys, and it's good to see his teammates recognizing him.
It's really nice words from Trent, and absolutely, his performances, the goals were exceptional. They weren't fluke goals, they weren't easy, they weren't gifts, they were skill level 10 out of 10. So credit to him. I thought it was an unbelievable performance.
All different goals too.
Yeah.
Very different goals. What a play.
No, when I think of Fede Valverde, and if you've been watching Morning Footy, there was one person here at the network that talked about him being not just one of the most underappreciated players, but the most complete player in the world right now.
Who's that,
Lahoud? But outside of singing my own praises, which is tongue-in-cheek, but with regard to
doing that with the Tottenham pep talk.
But with regard to Fede, and jokes aside, I've always thought this, right? That you have leaders who do their talking with their mouth. And he's always been a leader by example, with the armband or without the armband. I go back to different points. In the biggest games for Real Madrid, people think about Kylian Mbappe, people think about Cristiano Ronaldo, people think about Karim Benzema, but you think about the biggest games for Real Madrid since the COVID season. Who has always been there? Who's always been consistent? Champions League final in Paris. Who got the assist? Vinny scores the goal. Fede Valverde, playing a position that's not his natural position, as a winger, gets the assist. He never complains, as you said. He's a model professional, and if you're a young player out there, you want to see how the game should be truly played as a professional, watch the superstars, yes. But in my opinion, watch Fede Valverde. If you truly want to be a pro, watch him and you'll learn.
Yeah, very important player for Real Madrid. I'd love to kind of shift this conversation to the goalkeepers. I feel like that's all we've spoken about this week in the Champions League. We had Kinski with Tottenham not having a very good game. Donnarumma wasn't really up to what we thought his standard could be. But Thibaut Courtois was fantastic, became the first goalkeeper to record 2 assists in the Champions League this season. He was amazing last night. How important was he for Real Madrid to get this win? Year
after year, we say this. Thibaut Courtois is probably Real Madrid's most important player because he has saved them over and over and over again. You talk about that Champions League final in Paris. He was their savior.
For me, it's the decision-making that makes him so good. He knows when to play short. Yeah. The assist for the long ball was phenomenal. Yeah. The pace to just take it over the fullback to catch them off guard, that for me is drawing players in, playing short initially, and then catching them on the long ball. So his decision-making, along with big saves, was spot on. And, you know, in a week where it has been difficult around goalkeepers and overplaying at the back, making big mistakes. That's why he is in that conversation of being Real Madrid's one of the most important players. His decision-making at the back was exceptional.
And on the other side of the pitch, we look at Manchester City. It was one of Pep Guardiola's worst losses in the Champions League, Lahoud. People were kind of questioning the starting 11 he put out. Were you one of those people?
Yeah, I was. I was actually one of those people trying to throw stuff at my TV and like, what? What am I watching right now, right?
Because classic Pep overthinking.
Yeah, Pep is going to Pep. But when I look at this City team and just try and make sense of this, right? And maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but City's success has come when they've been solid in the middle of the park. When you've had speed, when you've had, you know, and I thought Ciordini used the perfect word yesterday in the Champions Club when he said legs around Rodri. When you look at this 11, do you not see a massive sieve in the middle of the park, a void in the middle of the park and around Rodri? I just don't get it. Nico O'Reilly has been playing central midfield as of late. Why would you all of a sudden, in the Santiago Bernabeu, I know he had a breakout performance against Real Madrid playing left fullback, right? Why all of a sudden, in this game of this magnitude, away from home, would you go back to that when he has not played left fullback as of late in the last 3 months? It doesn't make sense to me. I thought Pep got what he fully deserved. I thought there was a bit of arrogance from him, and he was naive. Words I would never think I would be saying in the Champions League about Pep yet again.
I love what you said about the midfield, though, because for me, that if your midfield has gaps, I was looking at it, a typical centre-back from the back line. They looked shaky, but it's because, as you said, they didn't have that protection, a Foden in there running like the legs you're talking about to just give that extra bit of protection on the back line. For me, they look miles off, and that's, I know they've had a tough couple of seasons, but for me, that kind of deficit in this round of a Champions League was just so far away from where we put this club at. But for me, it was the midfield was a very bizarre selection.
You talk about that deficit. Only 4 teams in the Champions League have overcome a 3-goal deficit coming back in, I think, 2017, so a long time ago. Pep said he's not too sure they can do it. He said now not too much that we can come back in the second leg. Do you think they can do it, Aaron?
I don't think this Manchester City will overturn it. I think they can because it's football and they have a lot of quality, but I don't think they will overturn it against this Real Madrid, the way that things are going.
You have to think as well, Mbappe could be back for leg 2.
Look, there's a lot of things I did not foresee in the first leg.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not about to say it's not happening.
So, look, against Pep Guardiola, you're never out of it until the final whistle. But if I see a lineup like this again, if I see substitutions like he made in this leg again, I mean, it could be double the deficit that we see in the second leg.
And it's also not Man City just having to score 3 goals. They have to stop Real Madrid scoring the goals. And if they've got Valverde on the pitch, it might be questionable.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.